Okay, so this is an off-stream segment. I'm actually was just doing a bunch of work. It's 1 in the morning right now. I was doing a ton of work because I'm going on like a little mini vacation with my wife and mother-in-law. And so I'm laying in bed and I come across a clip on TikTok of Jada Pinkett Smith, and bro, I was kind of outraged. I'm not gonna lie. I feel horrible for Will Smith, and I was like, you know what? Let me just get up now, do this, so I don't have to work through the weekend because I want to talk about this. And it's Jada Pinkett Smith addresses Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. Okay, and there's another one too because apparently she had an interview with Today. We're just gonna watch these little segment things, but and this one is she talks about how they've been separated since 2016. The way that she talks in these from what the very little bit of I've seen is very disrespectful. I feel horrible for Will Smith. I think that we've known that Jada has had this weird hold on Will for a very long time. And here's the thing: some people will be like, "Well, that's sexist." Listen, I have a very strong wife. My wife is very, she can be. My wife's my wife. She can be a little bit more forward sometimes. When we go out to eat, she can be very direct, or not just out to eat, but go out anywhere with anybody. She can be very direct sometimes, But my wife is a beautiful, loving, supportive. She is amazing, and she would never embarrass me publicly. And one of the things that I know in this situation is like Jada doesn't understand marital boundaries. And that's something you definitely need to know, especially as like these are huge, I don't know, call them actors, influencers, presences in the world. I'm very big, but I'm a very small scale, like micro influence, like very micro, very tiny, right? Like parts of my body. One part. Okay. And still, my wife and I have had conversations about boundaries and the difficulty with being married and dating somebody that is some kind of an influencer, because I did have a larger TikTok presence. And the only point I'm making is they should have this figured out. They're like 50, 60, whatever. They're older. I'm in my 30s. My wife's in her late 20s. I'm in my early 30s. We're at a point now where, for the most part, we've gotten a good handle on boundaries when it comes to setting proper boundaries with the internet and what you do and don't talk about. And Jada doesn't. And I think that actually she knows what she's doing. So I don't know. She's just not a good person, in my opinion. I think that she's so bad. I feel horrible for this guy, Will Smith. He's a great actor. Really one of the best. Everything aside, when he cried with Uncle Phil about his dad, I don't have a father either. It really resonated with me. And so now we're sitting here and, Jada's just talking about stuff she shouldn't be. If you're unhappy in your marriage or whatever, keep it to yourself, frankly. Especially since there's no way Will is this horrible person that deserves to have some kind of like public back. I don't know. Anyway, let's watch. Let's just watch.
On Oscar night 2022, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock after...
Which, by the way, I thought was really gross. Like a terrible thing to do. Chris Rock, as a comedian, he had made a joke. Will Smith had a reaction. I thought it was incredibly inappropriate. Yeah.
Chris made a crack about Jada's hair.
Yeah. I could tell it bothered you. You did an eye roll.
Right. Yeah, and I did that eye roll not so much for me. And I think this is really important. But
what?
The fact that there could be a jab at alopecia.
Bro, shut the fuck up. Okay, first of all, she did it for her. And if that's your initial reaction, have the reaction and own it. Okay, it's a comedian, Chris Rock, making a comedy, and you're gonna have that. I personally don't know why you get so offended in the first place, but whatever. I come from a family where when my aunt was diagnosed with cancer, she went on the treatment and whatnot, and my family, my mom would make fun of her for losing her hair. It wasn't in a way to be disrespectful. It was in a let's laugh kind of way. My aunt has gone, she got through it, and now she's, doing her thing. Right? I have a very close family. We're a family of jokesters. Okay. So for me personally, I don't understand why you're so upset about a literal comedian telling a literal joke about how you're bald. Not that big of a deal. I understand for women, It's obviously different than men, but then at the same time, she doesn't look bad with her bald head. It's like me, I have a decent head to be bald. If I'm gonna be bald, this is not a bad head shape. Okay, there's people that look like they're rocking fucking Minecraft faces or triangle faces. They're not able to pull this off. I can. So be happy, and it's like whatever. But either way, you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm offended for everybody with fucking alopecia." No, you're not. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Will then went on a profane tirade warning Chris not to mention his wife's name. Jada couldn't believe what she was hearing.
What is going on? Now, first of all, I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. But I'm like, what is going on right
keep
now?
My wife's name
out of your mouth, right? And I'm like, but now I'm really worried for Will.
This is just horrific. Listen, let me tell you something. If I ever embarrass my wife in public, or my wife ever embarrassed me in public, that is a at-home conversation. You're not going to see me ever go around telling any one of not even my friends, my family, the internet, about some kind of embarrassing situation with my wife, because that is for us to handle. We're both going to have bad moments. It's called being supportive. I understand they have a shitty marriage, but you're still in some kind of a relationship. You have kids together. There should be a love, a mutual respect in some capacity between you guys. For her to come on here and say this shit's fucking banana boats.
I don't know what's going on.
Bro.
What viewers did not see at the time, while Oscar clips were being shown, was Chris Rock leaning over the stage to talk to Jada.
And Chris looks to me and he says, Jada, I meant no harm. Now, I'm just out of it because
Yeah, I'm sure that Jada, bro, I remember the smile Jada had after that. No? Am I like delusional? I remember covering this and she seemed so satisfied with herself. Am I misremembering something? Because I could have swore that she was like satisfied with what happened there. I could have swore. I don't know. From what I remember, she seemed all in it. She seemed like she was down for it. She wanted Will to step in. And you want to know what? I feel like Will only did that because he gets emasculated at home and feels the need to overcompensate. I don't give a fuck. I'm not blaming women. I'm blaming this woman. She seems like such a horrible, rotten person. Oh, my God.
Really worried about
And what's Will doing? He's just sitting there?
Like, she's just fucking shitting on Will Smith, a year later or anything, or 2 years later or whatever. That's all she's doing. It's gross.
And Will's still talking. He's like, he's still, because now he's mad because Chris is talking to me. And I go, Chris, this is about some old shit. That's all I could think to say, right? And I couldn't really take in his apology.
How unusual for Will, a guy who, I mean, on that kind of stage to do something so insane.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he must have some kind of thing stressing him out in his life. I wonder what it would be to push him to that point.
It's totally out of character.
It's not him whatsoever.
No.
And to Jada's surprise, she was also blamed.
Yeah, yes, of course.
You became the bad guy.
Yeah, well, first of all, she was happy about it. I remember her face. She was satisfied. Second of all, yeah, bro, we could see the turmoil that she puts him through. Are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure, like, all those conversations about, like, I remember there was other videos that had leaked or came out where she was talking about, they were talking to each other in a weird way. She's like still in love with Tupac. I'm white, so I'm not like, She just doesn't. She's not committed. But wasn't she like hitting on her son's friend, which was an adult of age? I'm not, but still, like, listen. I used to be in a non-monogamous relationship with my wife. Okay, and we have since closed it. Okay. And there are boundaries that you set when you are in a non-monogamous situation. There are boundaries that you set. And one of them is usually not trying to fuck your son's friend, right? I imagine if we were still in one, when we have kids, that's going to be a boundary. We're going to set the boundary. Because that's fucking weird, man.
Look what Jada made him do.
Yeah.
Jada rolled her eyes, and look what he did. He ran up there and hit
Yep.
Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Poor Will.
Yep. There's just no way. There's just no way that this would have. There's just no way he's not dealing with a fucking significantly bad person at home.
That's what the narrative became.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm doubling down on that.
She says
narrative.
that's because 2 years earlier, Jada discussed what she called an entanglement on her show, Red Table Talk.
Yeah. Again, another boundary issue where she set out to disrespect Will.
My honest opinion about that is that narrative had more to do
You
with
say sexism or racism or something.
false narrative that I helped to create on the Red Table.
The false narrative, guys. Okay.
So poor Will because of
Jesus Christ. She's giving us the Donald Trump treatment here, guys. She's giving us the fake news, the false narrative. Oh, shut the fuck up.
the
It's actually we're all stupid or something. Like everybody can just tell what's going on here.
The adulterous wife
yeah.
who forced him to go to the table and sit there, you know what I mean? And now look at
You asked him to do this table talk for whatever reason, and then you grilled the fuck out of him, and you embarrassed him. So,
what she's done. She has the power with an eye roll to make him go up and
bro, she literally looks like an evil Disney villain. Like that's just a fact.
slap somebody on stage.
So that was from her point of view, and she says that there was bad blood between Chris Rock and Will from before. But she said she actually thought it was like a bit because she said she watched them storm up and Will.
I don't care about their commentary. I'm gonna just watch this other part. Let's see if we can get more from her.
Is this true?
Right.
I want to see what else she has. Oh, she made a book. That's why she's doing this. Oh my god. What is it called? Morty? It's called Worthy. Dude, that's it. Okay. So what's happening here is Jada has decided that because she's releasing a book, she needs to promote it by shitting on her fucking husband. I don't care if they're ex-husband, whatever. Again, we really need to normalize better interactions and relationships between husbands and wives and spouses when you have kids. Just because I don't know if they're ex necessarily, but apparently they have been separated since 2016, whatever. Okay? If you're an ex in some capacity, that's the father of your children. You're the mother of his children. There's supposed to be some kind of a love still there. There should be some level of a commitment still there. I don't even frankly believe her because I don't know. There's something. It doesn't make sense that Will would say what he said unless something's going on, some kind of reconciliation. I'm sure that they've been shaky for a while, but still, marriages are complicated. I understand that. I'm in a marriage. It's a beautiful thing. But at the end of the day, there is a boundary that Jada has consistently been crossing for years and years and years and years and years. And she is completely doing it again. She's coming on to plug her new book. She's talking about how she has no idea why Will would say this, disavowing him as a husband for, the past 9 years or whatever, or 7 years. And she's just embarrassing him to plug her fucking book. I mean, oh my God. I couldn't imagine being married to somebody who literally looks like a Disney villain. It's a real thing. Terrible.
There are so many surprising things in the book, but the thing that surprised me the most, that I actually had to reread it because I said, is this true?
Right.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
I don't believe that. I just don't believe it. It just doesn't add up. I'm sure that they have a conversation about some form of a separation, but these are very complicated aspects. And so I very highly doubt that there was a full separation. And even if there was a separation, there's always getting back together and blah, blah, blah. And things are very complicated. It just doesn't add up to me that he would say, like, I'm going to keep my wife's name out of your mouth if they were separated. There's no way that he would be coping so hard.
Yes. It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016,
I just don't
which
believe
is
it.
7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that. This is just like an excuse for her shitty behavior.
But in public, the couple, who married in 1997, denied the gossip about their marriage. This interview on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen was taped a year after Will and Jada separated.
So how long have you guys been together?
23 years.
Wow. That's amazing. How do you keep it hot?
How do I keep it hot? Maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm baffled, really.
Yeah, right.
Over the next
I don't know, dude. Yeah, I don't
several
know.
years,
I know that I understand the concept. Like for them, getting a divorce is a little bit bigger, or it's different from like somebody, excuse me, quote unquote normal getting a divorce. Right, you're supposed to keep up public appearances and blah blah blah, whatever bullshit. Although some people do that even when they're not celebrities, I understand. So I understand that, and that's what she's going to rely on. But I just don't believe. I don't believe it fully. I think there's a lot more complicated than that. I mean, to just say like, oh, we've been separated since 2016 and like blah blah blah. No, there's something going on there. So why run the narrative that you're in some kind of open relationship? I don't know. It's not adding up. It's not sitting right with me.
Jada and Will kept up the appearance of a committed married couple. They even faced a scandal when Jada had what she called an entanglement with a family friend. Neither let
with like a very younger person.
the public know they had already split.
So I guess my question is, I feel like you're a straight talker.
I am.
I don't.
Except you're not sometimes.
Yeah.
Whoa! Holy shit! I'm gonna fart. Wow! What a sentence. You could tell that she's been thinking about this one, because this person on the left, I don't know who the fuck she is. This is a puff piece, 1000%. This is blowing smoke directly into Jada's anus hole. Like there's no other fucking. That's it. So she came up with that line. I feel like you're a very straight talker, but unless you're not. Oh my God, who wrote that? Fucking Emmy Award winning line that you just, what a banger. What a fucking banger. Hey, put that in the promotion. Put that in the promotional video so people will go watch. So people will go, excuse me, I'm fucking tired. It's like 1:30 in the morning. So people will go and watch the full interview. Do that. Incredible.
So why do that? Like, what was the reason?
I think just not being ready yet. Still trying to
I'm not ready to. I'm traumatized by this.
figure out between the two of us
Yeah.
Okay.
how to be in partnership,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
And in regards to how do we present that to people,
Okay.
And we hadn't figured that out.
Okay.
During our walk in Baltimore, Jada reflected on their breakup.
Why did the relationship fracture?
Why the fuck are you going for a walk? Is this supposed to make you seem like a more of a normal person? Like I don't get it. Because they didn't go for a walk. They went for a shoot. They did the Oprah Winfrey, Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Let's go to fucking Maui. Let's go to Hawaii for a little bit and pretend we're helping, kind of a thing.
Oh, well, why it fractured, that's a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
When I walk, I usually face the person I'm walking with, and then I talk to them. I stand still. And I make sure I find a side of a building that has good lighting so the camera gets a good shot. So that's how I usually walk as well.
I think by the time we got to 2016, we were just exhausted with trying. I think we were both kind of still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be.
Jada says she
Like a loving wife. What a fantasy.
considered a legal divorce, but could never go
Okay.
through with it.
I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise.
You did break that promise. What are you talking about? I don't like your face. What are you talking about? Listen, okay? If you're somebody who takes marriage like really seriously and you do like through sickness and health and this and that, and you're very anti-divorce, that's totally fine. And you need to dump a ridiculous amount of resources. Again, into making that marriage work, a lot of which is going to be through therapy. Right, because some people are of the idea that if you are in true love once with somebody, then you should be able to like bring that back, and things happen and change. And I understand that, and work through it. Go to a couples counselor, which, by the way, I don't know if she's ever mentioned that she has before. I wouldn't doubt it if they just didn't. But don't play this game. Either just shut the fuck up. Just say you stayed together for media or whatever. Because that's a bullshit promise. You didn't try to make anything work. Oh, we stayed like this. What she says is just doesn't add up.
That there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce.
Like, you basically divorced. What's getting a separation is effectively a divorce. It's just not like the final shot. So I don't know. It's just this morally virtuous bullshit of like, we stayed together because marriage means something to me. I promise I'd never get a divorce. You guys are basically divorced. So shut the fuck up.
We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise.
But you still live separately.
We live separately.
Okay. Listen. I don't have a whole lot else to say. I wanted to get this out. I wanted to talk about this before I went on my nice little trip. Because I didn't feel like doing work tomorrow or something. But dude, give me a fucking break. Obviously, this entire situation exists exclusively for Jada to plug her book. She's breaking at Will Smith's character and his person and disrespecting him publicly. That's what I interpret all of this as a way to plug her book. That's all it is. That's all it is. It is a continuous breaking down and beating down of Will Smith over and over again, disavowing the slap, even though we saw the satisfied look in her face afterwards. We know she liked it. Disavowing Will, talking about how they were separated for the past 7 years. A bunch of shit that's just not true. I just don't believe it. All to plug a fucking book. This is a boundary crosser, 1000%. She isn't now, and frankly, I don't think that she's ever been a supportive spouse. I think that she's just a shitty person, and I feel bad for Will. So, yeah, that's it.